Do you have a brilliant startup idea? Visit our website at eapla.com to schedule a Blue Couch meeting and launch your startup journey today.
Welcome back to On The Cusp. I got my co-host Matt Snyder with me.
Thank you, Dave.
And Matt, by the way, we're in season 12.
I love it. We made it.
We made season 12, okay? And we have Josh Morvant from Secure Logic with us today. And I've met with Josh a couple times, and he's got a unique product. And I wanted you to come on and tell us, what is Secure Logic?
Secure Logic is a company that was born pre-COVID, and it's a disinfection company that we take a truly botanical product, 100% botanical, no synthetic inside of it at all, and we disperse it in such a way that we can touch every item inside of a building, a room, a facility, and has no bilateral damage to anything that's inside of it, yet we can kill everything that's harmful to us that's in that facility.
That is impressive, and I know post-COVID now there's a high demand for things like that, but it's more than just a disinfectant. Talk to us about your research and development in the nozzle and some of the and how you actually deploy this capability.
The traditional way of disinfection that we've been using for 100 years to clean things, to disinfect, to sanitize, to sterilize, has always been to wet surfaces. And our biggest hinge was we wanted to make sure that kids can stay safe in school. And you can't go inside of a school and disinfect on the levels that we were wanting to disinfect to keep kids safe because you wet items. We can't wet papers inside of school in classrooms because it's detrimental to what they do for a living. So we went on this 18-month to 2-year journey of trying to figure out how to atomize this liquid that was already shown great efficacy against all of these organisms that are harmful to us and bring it into a dry form, into the atmosphere. And it was excruciating. It cost us a lot of money. We stayed inside of a lab. I lived in a laboratory for 2 years in Minnesota. Still going there. When y'all reached out to me to do this, I was where I was. I was in a laboratory. And we found that we were successful with doing it. And we can take a liquid droplet, turn it into a gas without changing the molecular structure or the chemical makeup of the product.
And you install this in the HVAC system?
That's one of the ways that we install it. One of the ways that we install it for clean air, for air quality control, is our nozzle technology can go right on the inside of an air conditioning system, right at the coil, which is the source of your problems for indoor air quality. And it deploys every day. It's completely automated. We built a programmable logic control computer that controls it on a day-to-day basis, and it sprays.
So the customer doesn't even know this is taking place every night, and he walks in. You walk into your facility the next day, and it's totally sanitized.
That's correct.
Overnight.
That's correct.
Yeah, that's really
and
impressive.
It kills the flu.
Yeah, what does it kill? Yeah, that's a great question.
So in the world of killing pathogens, this journey was like me going back to college for microbiology. I don't have a college degree. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a biologist. So I just want to make that clear.
Me either. So you got to tell me really.
Yeah. I'm not either. So and I've talked to him twice now, and I learned something every time we go through this.
So the EPA. Everybody thinks that killing pathogens on the surface is a FDA-controlled substance. It's not. FDA controls things that go on top of us, things that we put in our body, on our body. The EPA controls what goes on surfaces to kill, hard surfaces, non-porous surfaces, because they want to know if I'm going to use something on this table to kill it, I need to know how it's going to impact the environment. I need to know that if it's hazardous, I need to know how hazardous it is, what's in it. And that's where labeling comes from. The labeling on bottles that we use on a day-to-day basis, and no matter what it is, if it has kill claims on it, in other words, if I'm going to make the claim to tell you, hey, I can kill COVID, that's an EPA-regulated substance.
Okay.
The Environmental Protection Agency does that. They are wildly understaffed, and it takes a long time to get things through their process. This product has been in research and development in getting it onto the market for 17 years. And about $8 million inside of it. But we know now that not only mold, all types of mold. The EPA says, hey, if you're going to have a mold claim, a fungicide claim, you have to kill certain mold spores because these are the most difficult to kill. And if you can kill these, you can kill all of them.
Okay.
They do that for mold, bacteria, and viruses. So the ones that you have to kill are, for mold, it's like trichophyton or Aspergillus pellucidum, which is black mold. For viruses, it's polio or parvovirus, which affects animals.
Right.
And the reason why those two is because they're so small. Now, if I have to make a comparison, influenza, let's just say H1N1. We saw that years ago. We had an outbreak of H1N1 across the world. Influenza is probably the size of a Volkswagen compared to polio, which is the size of a grain of sand.
Wow.
Big difference.
Big difference.
The reason why that's important is because a bigger virus is easier to kill than a smaller virus. It doesn't mean that it's less contagious. It just
Right.
means it's easier for us to go grab it and kill it. So traditional disinfection, well, let me back up. Bacteria, you have to kill Staph, Pseudomonas, and Salmonella. Those three bacterium, 2 gram positive, 1 gram, 2 gram negative, 1 gram positive. You kill those three, you can get what they call a broad spectrum disinfectant, which means I can bridge just about anything else that's out there and we can kill it. So we know that when we put it against it, like E. coli, Listeria.
And you've tested your product and your application in the lab in Minnesota.
Absolutely.
And you've killed it to whatever the EPA requirement is down to say, yep, this is effective.
Yeah, so EPA requirements are much more rigorous than the real world application. So what they do is they tell you, hey, we're going to do a slide, it's a 1-inch slide, and we're going to inoculate it with 1 million bacteria. And you have 10 minutes to kill everything on it. If you don't kill everything, you fail. We can't put it on the label. We took it a step further, and we did it without wetting the surface. We sprayed it into a room with platelets everywhere, high, low, upside down, right side up, and we killed everything that was in the room. You have to kill 66 slides of each organism 3 different times. You can't fail. If you fail one, you fail.
Okay.
That is pretty
I'm going to
stringent.
make us go back because I want to make sure we're being I want a kindergartner to be able to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I go in a room with a can of Lysol and I'm spraying my Lysol around.
Mm-hmm.
That's wet?
That's wet.
Okay.
Droplet is big, somewhere between 50 and 80 microns.
Okay. You're putting a mist into a room
That's dry.
that's dry. When it goes in the air conditioner and comes out the vents, can you see it?
If you spray it long enough, you can.
Okay. And then it lands on all the surfaces, basically.
Correct.
And kills everything.
And it goes to work.
That's cool.
It is.
to
It's
work.
pretty impressive.
And it will never leave a residue.
Yeah.
Really?
No
Okay.
residue.
And the reason why, it took me 2 years to retrain my brain how to think about this. Can you see microorganisms?
Not with the naked eye.
You can't with the naked eye. Are they there?
Yeah, they're there.
Okay. Can you see mold spores in the air?
No.
No, you can't. They're there though.
Okay.
We're killing things that we can't see.
With something you can't see.
That's correct. If you put enough of it
pretty
into
cool.
the air, you can see it.
And you've deployed this. So this
We
is
have.
research and development done right here in Shreveport-Bossier
That's correct.
that you're now taking nationally, if not internationally, on this. What was your biggest hurdle here in Shreveport-Bossier?
For a company, we didn't have a hurdle here at Shreveport-Bossier. Our biggest hurdle that we've had to overcome, and we're still overcoming it, is the educational part, is re-educating people what we're doing right here.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about chemistry and science that has literally never been done before.
Yeah.
You go into a lab, they inoculate a slide, it's dry. They put bacteria on it, they literally wipe it with a stick. And then they dehydrate it, they dry it. So it's still alive, but it's inactive. And then when moisture hits it, it reactivates, becomes alive again. Well, we were wildly scared that we weren't gonna kill it because we're dry as well. I can spray a room for 30 minutes, a small room like we're in right now, 3,000 cubic feet of airspace for 30 minutes, and put trillions of droplets into the atmosphere and never raise the humidity more than 80%.
So if you sprayed this room and we were outside it and then we walked back in, we wouldn't be able to tell.
Once it dissipated, no, you wouldn't be able to tell it deployed. You would still smell it that it deployed. Some of our oils, they stay behind because we're also a deodorizer. So a lot of folks don't understand foul smells come from, that's called mycotoxins. That is the off-gassing of bacteria feeding on mold or sweat from us or grime or whatever it is that they're feeding. Bacteria is a living organism. It wants to live, right? Has to eat.
Okay.
It eats. When it eats, it off-gasses. Every living organism on the planet does the same thing. Everybody does.
That's
Human
what
beings do.
generates your odor.
That's correct. That's odor. So when you have BO in your body, you're not smelling your sweat. You're smelling bacteria feeding on your sweat. So if you kill the bacteria, you kill the odor.
Gotcha.
We've done this in athletic facilities around the country.
Yeah, I wanted you to talk about that. I mean, you've deployed this capability in some pretty interesting places.
We entered into the wrestling world about 8 months ago, and we're fortunate enough to have done business with UNC Chapel Hill, Michigan State University, that's where I was 2 days ago, with the coaching staff at Michigan State University, Tarleton University, which is an extension of Texas A&M in Texas. We're doing work with Missouri University. We visited NC State in North Carolina. We visited Liberty University in Virginia.
Man, if you can fix locker room smell, but none of
it
that's
is
the
going to
worst
fix the
smell.
smell.
I've been, I go to these schools.
You're a gym rat. You're pretty familiar with
marketing and stuff, and they always take you to show you their new epic football facility and all that, and they walk you through these fancy locker rooms. Let me tell you, you can be in a very fancy locker room, it still smells like an old locker room.
That's right. There's nothing you can do.
You can fix
but
that.
here's the thing. I mean, he's killing everything every day.
That's awesome.
That's how we know that we're killing bacteria without having to go do further testing because the odor's gone.
That's interesting. That's awesome.
So at Tarleton University, this is an interesting set of circumstances there. Their coach, Grant Leith, he's a phenomenal wrestler. He's a coach there. He's a young guy. He's up and coming. They're trying to get into D1. Their organization is growing very, very rapidly. He's very well known in the wrestling world. And in the wrestling world, all of your infections come from the mats. Because if you look at a wrestle, look, UFC is the same way. Combat sports are hand-to-hand, skin contact, staph, MRSA, ringworm, impetigo, they run rampant through these places. And when professional athletes can't compete, they lose money. That is the bottom line. Not to mention, we go a step further, it's detrimental to their health. We have people that have caught staph infections in places on their body that have had lasting, lifelong effects because they can't get rid of them. When staph gets into your blood, you become septic. Now you're in the hospital. Now they have to start cutting you open and drain. I mean, it's bad. And it's because we're just not clean.
Okay, so we've talked about putting this in an air conditioning unit, but can you also go in a big space like that, a gym that's about to have a wrestling, and spray this
every night?
Other ways, like hand spray, machines?
With our machine, you don't have to do that. We take the human factor out of it. Problems arise with disinfection because of human beings. If you can't see it, how do you know where it's at? If we were to exit this room and I told you guys, I'm gonna go hide a grain of sand somewhere, and I want you to go find it, and I'm gonna give you all the time in the world, you are never gonna find it.
Right.
It's impossible. You're literally looking for a needle that was cut down to a hundredth of the size in the haystack. You can't find it.
So
that's really the advantage that you're bringing is you're taking that requirement where somebody's got to go in and physically spray, knowing that if you go in and physically spray or wipe down, you're going to miss X percentage of the surface.
Think about you in your house when your kid's sick, and I got the can of Lysol, and I'm like walking, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to spray that.
Absolutely.
You're avoiding that. You don't know where you're spraying.
I'm not sure I can spray this.
I'm just
That's the other thing. I'm not sure I can spray this.
That's correct.
Okay, so it gets skipped, and who knows what's living on that?
That's right.
For sure. Yeah.
In this case, because it is a dry. Not spray, but application here, it's going to cover everything.
It's because it's so small. The micron size is so small. We hover between 1 and 3 microns. Give you an idea how small it is. The human hair is about 80 microns. a red blood cell is 20 microns. Wow. We are about 20 times smaller than that. So we're smaller or at the same size as bacteria. So when you can become that small, you can touch everything.
That's cool.
So Josh, what's next? You got this going. You're deployed. What are you going to do next with it?
So yesterday I was at the USDA. Had a 2-hour conversation with the USDA with research and development in Peoria, Illinois. Now, why is that interesting? Because what we can do in regular facilities with athletes and all of this other stuff, it's exciting, and my passion is in schools. I want to see our technology in schools because I know that the future, if we don't keep our kids safe, we got nothing.
And every time a little kid goes to preschool,
They get sick.
oh man, that first year they're sick the whole time.
They get sick.
And so's the family.
Now look,
yeah.
we can't, I'm not sitting here today telling you that we can guarantee we can solve all of those problems, but what we can do is bring a level of mitigation to be proactive against it instead of being reactive. We're such a reactive society. We wait till things happen and then we do something. We wait till things happen and then we do something. It's time for us to start thinking a little bit different, and that's what innovation is. If you truly are an innovator, you're doing things before they happen. Right. So you can have an implementation. That's exactly right. We still have a problem. We always will unless we do something about it. It's just that I was fortunate enough to stumble upon the right liquid because it has a safety profile and a non-toxic category of being non-toxic for everything, your skin, your inhalation, your ingestion, your eyeballs. It can go right into, you don't need to wear any PPE. You can breathe it in. You can drink it if you wanted to. It's safe. I know the EPA doesn't want me to say that, but for practical purposes, for elementary purposes, it's a safe product, okay? That's not, the word safe is not, they don't want you to use that on the EPA, and I understand that. But when you're talking to folks, not everybody gets the, when you say non-toxic, what does that mean to people? Yeah. You got to talk to people normal, like what we're talking.
I want to know, like if I spill it on my hand.
It's not going to do you anything.
You're not running to the emergency room.
If little Bobby gets a bottle and drinks it, what happens?
That's right. Okay. It's non-carcinogenic.
When I think about the uses and the application of this across, multiple different sectors, okay, it's really impressive. And I thought it was important for you to be on the show because a lot of people say, well, there's no real R&D going on, in North Louisiana. And I'm like,
we got some
pretty significant things taking place in North Louisiana, and it's worth knowing that for us that, hey, you can do this in Louisiana.
Yeah, okay. and look, I'm not anybody special. All I did, like I said, I'm gonna say it again, I don't have a biology degree, but I tell you what, I listen to people that do, and that people that try to not debunk, but they ask some really good pointed questions.
Right.
And we're always able to answer them. And we're able to answer them with pinpoint accuracy because we know what we've seen. And we know what we've tested against some nasty organisms inside of the laboratory. And we have been able to control them. One of them that makes it's such a great importance that we talk about is C. diff. Now C. diff is a leading killer, not a leading killer, but it's one of the causes of post-op infections in hospitals across the country. It's about 100,000 deaths a year that are caused by C. diff. 80% of people that catch C. diff after post-op infections, they die because it's such a nasty bacteria that gets into your gut. It's also the hardest. It's a sporicidal bacteria, which means that on the outside of the cell membrane, the bacteria has evolved to have like an asphalt coating. It's very, very difficult to get through that to kill it. And we controlled it with plant oils. We killed it. 100% kill in 24 hours, wiped it out. That's never been accomplished before inside of a laboratory. So
think about that just for a hospital operating room.
Yeah, and I tell you, with all of that being said, my business partner and I, Marty Bouquet, we believe, and right now the road that we're going down, agriculture is going to be our biggest play. Our food source is the most important thing that we have in this country. We lose just as much food as we produce to contaminants from mycotoxins because of mold growth, because we can't control it, the reason why we can't control it is because the only products that we have that we can put on it have synthetics in it.
Yeah.
They're treating feed for animals with formaldehyde.
Yes, absolutely.
How can that be safe?
Yeah, it can't. Definitely.
So guess what? When they feed to a pig that has formaldehyde in it, Guess what we're consuming?
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Which
And we
brings up a
wonder
good
why
point.
people are catching cancer.
Absolutely. Definitely. Well, Josh, thank you very much. This has
Yeah,
been
man,
great.
this is awesome.
Thank you.
This is
This is
exciting,
awesome.
dude.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
Yes,
Appreciate
you're welcome.
it. Yeah.
Enjoy the podcast? We would love your feedback about today's show and who you think should be our next guest. Send us an email at info@eapla.com. Also, be sure to share the show and leave a comment on our social media post.